Well, at the end of day 2 at Old Trafford, it's time for Ask George.
And also, what should her nickname be? She doesn't really want one. But Elizabeth's a lot. She doesn't like Betty.
Anyway, what's your thoughts on...
I would like people to suggest polite nicknames. You've got to buy in. I mean, it's you know...
what are your thoughts on day 2? We've seen a lot of England batting today.
Yeah, it was a fantastic day for England. Fantastic day for Ben Foakes and Ben Stokes. I know that people who are here will probably go home talking about Ben Stokes, won't they? Because he plays so wonderfully. And he reminded everyone what a top-class batter he is. But I thought Ben Foakes' innings was really important, really cemented his place in the side and cemented England's position in this game. So, fantastic day for England. And South Africa have got a lot to do tomorrow, eh?
Well, Ston Post and Will Hinch both come in with pretty much the same question, which is, if Stokes can play like this, then why try BazBall? Because clearly when he's doing his perfect balance of defence and attack, it works.
Yeah, well, you nailed it. That is exactly right. He gave, the difference was he gave himself a chance. I think it might have been his slowest Test 50 today, 101 balls, I reckon. But it was a more intelligent, sophisticated innings. And obviously there were some lovely shots in there too, but there's no need... I think I've said before, he's been more interested in making statements than runs. And actually it's all about runs. There are different ways of putting pressure on opposition, and just batting for a long time can do it. And he will score runs because he's got so many options. But yeah, I thought it was a much more sophisticated way of playing. It won't generate the same sort of hashtags and the same crazy sort of excitement, but the conditions here were much more bowler friendly than we had earlier in the summer when England were thrashing New Zealand and India around the park, you know, with a rubbish ball and very flat wickets. So I thought they adapted, and it was probably England's best batting performance of the summer.
What did you think of his acceleration? Because obviously him and Foakes, I think, were at 41 or 42 at the same time, and then Stokes just burst into like hyperspeed.
Yeah, which we know he can do, which is why he should give himself time to play himself in, because he can always catch up. I've just been thinking about it because I've just said something before I've really thought about it. I mean, is it England's best batting of the summer when you see Root scooping for 6 and Johnny Bairstow's crazy batting in the 4th innings? You know, there's been some fantastic batting, but all round as a team, that might be the best performance so far, because, you know, Zach Crawley's innings was important too. And in those other games, England sort of relied on miracles. So I think I'm going to stick with that sort of consistent batting. That might have been, arguably anyway, that was the best we've seen from them this summer.
And Will Hinch adds, do you think Stokes should be averaging above 45, given he shows that he can bat like this?
Well, he's not an average cricketer in every way. And that isn't how you should judge him. But I take the point, and you're right, he's good enough to average 45 as a specialist batter, but he'll never think of his average with the bat or the ball, and he's all the better for that, eh?
Well, Danny comes up with a Zach Crawley point and asks, is it possible that an opener soaking up the new ball, even without scoring many runs, could be an important part of BazBall?
These are very wise questions. They are, though. Everything that people have asked so far has been spot on. Oh, I want to say hello to someone. I want to shout out to my old friend and colleague, Martin the Warrior Warrilow, who has not been very well in recent times, had a stroke, which is a bit clumsy. But he's always been terribly supportive. He was very supportive when I was a young journalist, helped push me on in my career. I'm very grateful for that. I want to say hello and looking forward to having a beer with you soon. Sorry, I know it's terribly unprofessional, but professional be damned.
So do you think Zach Crawley's role in the side is a key part of BazBall, kind of laying the foundation for them to go off from?
The whole BazBall thing, that's now the 3rd time I've used it ever. The team haven't used it. They get asked about it. That's not what they said. They did say some stuff about being very aggressive and stuff, but we shouldn't really hold them to this sort of mythical target. They said they wanted to play aggressive. They said they wanted to play very positive cricket, and I think they got sucked into living those words sometimes. What they played today was really good cricket, and I thought it was fun. I know that English cricket is obsessed by finding people who don't like cricket and trying to like them. Let the buggers go. Let them go if you don't enjoy this. No, I kind of mean that.
Yeah.
That was really bloody good cricket that we saw from Ben Stokes and Ben Foakes and Zach Crawley today. That's what Test cricket is. It doesn't always have to be trying to appeal to something. You know, not all music has a chorus in the first 10 seconds. It's like that.
Mark Ridley sticks with Crawley and asks, is Crawley the new Joe Denley?
That's a really interesting question. I mean, he's a lot newer, isn't he? How old was Denley when he was picked? He was quite old. And I would say that it's an interesting question. You could write a sort of dissertation on it. I think that the ceiling is quite a lot higher with Crawley. You see, the one thing that Crawley's got is a lot of time on the ball. A bit like James Vince, I know I've said this before, but Zach Crawley can play fast bowling. He scored a 50 at Joburg, which I think is the quickest wicket in the world. And I think there were 13 boundaries and all of them were in front of square. I know that's a geeky point, but just think about that. 13 boundaries in front of square. He's got time. Joe Denley always seemed hurried. Always seemed hurried. I think no. But they're from Kent and they bat in the top order, so I take the point. But no.
Sushant asks, is Ed Smith's call to recall Butler and destabilise the wicket-keeping batter the worst in the history of the game?
There's a lot of contenders for that, eh? There's a lot of contenders. But does he call him Ed Smith? I'd be disappointed if he did.
They call him Ed Myths.
Ed Myth.
Yeah.
It's got a ring to it. It was a terrible decision. You can sort of see how it happened, but it didn't just destabilise, various people. The Johnny Bairstow, Moeen Ali, who else had to make way? Various people did, because, for a while Ben Stokes was a specialist number 7, which you just can't, there's no such thing. It's like being a unicorn. And then, there isn't. I mean, tell me about specialist number 7s in Test history. There aren't any. And then when that didn't really work out, they had to justify it. So they took the gloves from Johnny Bairstow, and Johnny Bairstow almost lost his career because of it. And you could say the same with Moeen Ali as well. So it was a poor decision, and it was a risk. And I think it was a look at me, I'm clever and funky sort of decision. And I guess Ben Foakes would have been feeling pressure. I mean, Ben Foakes, remember, was player of the series in his first series in Sri Lanka, plays 2 more tests, and through no fault of his own, he gets dropped. So it's kind of nice that these guys have come back and shown that there can be a happy ending to their stories, Bairstow and Foakes. And today was a massive day in his career. I think that's only the second, we worked it out, didn't we? Second century at home bowling the wicket-keeper since June 2016 or something. So it's quite significant what we saw today.
Dave Strudland asks, has anyone been stumped by a larger distance than Nighthawks from abroad today?
Oh, I don't know. Maybe. I've got this memory of, as a kid, of watching David Gow bat. I bloody loved David Gow batting. He was crazily gorgeous. He used to hit the ball. I swear he hit the ball. He didn't hit the ball. He caressed it. He didn't even caress it. The ball would give itself up in a state of love and just rush to the boundary. He timed the ball better than anyone I've ever seen. And I remember an innings, I think it was against New Zealand, we skipped down the wicket and missed it and just carried on walking without looking around. I thought that was the coolest thing I'd ever seen. So he was stumped by quite a long time, quite a long way. But yeah, take the point, yeah. But Stuart Broad did his job, didn't he? He swung a few, did really well today.
And the final question is, shouldn't we have a team with 11 Bens?
Definitely. Who would they be? We've got 2 in the side, haven't we? Ben Compton.
Ben Charlesworth, he's a Ben.
Gentle Ben. Mr. Ben. Suleiman Ben. I'm struggling for Bens. Can't think of many bowlers. Ben Phillips, he might be about 45 and retired. I'm obviously missing some. Yes, I think it's a really, really good thing, and I think that Ed Myth would have bitten your hand off that idea. Yeah, I think a lot of Bens would be really good. Yeah, good idea. Send in your example. Maybe we should call her Ben. I don't know why.
Maybe.
Right, good. Are we done? I can almost send that file.
Yeah.
Brilliant.